Well, his first assignment, climbing the clock tower of the San Francisco Chronicle building to watch for enemy planes after the attack on Pearl Harbor. And almost 8 decades later, he's finally winding down.
An incredible career. The newspaper's renowned science writer might be the oldest living reporter on Earth. He filed his last official story today, but earlier this week, KPIX 5's Wilson Walker spent a little time with the great David Perlman.
All right. Well, listen. Oh, by the way, roughly, give me a rough idea of how much time this is going to be.
And David Perlman knows a little something about time. At 98 years old, he's just now wrapping up a newspaper career that started 77 years ago as a copy boy, but that was just the beginning.
I started writing about science in about, I don't know, 1957, I guess it was, somewhere around then.
And from there, his career covered the entire trajectory of mankind's search for understanding, starting with things many of us now take for granted.
A month or two in the Galapagos Islands, recreating Darwin's footsteps. That's an overly dramatic way of putting it.
Actually, he might be understating it. This is a science reporter working on a scale of time that allowed him to watch his subject matter evolve.
All the planetary missions, beginning with Mariner 4, I think it was, back in the early 70s.
There were no obvious traces of the canals, as indicated on maps of Mars.
And now, of course, we're writing about exoplanets. You know, I can remember covering genetic engineering in the 1970s. Boy, that was a controversial thing. Now it's every day. But what has emerged from genetic engineering? Gene editing.
That, of course, was one constant over the years.
A lot of science enters the political sphere because a lot of science becomes controversial.
Something that was never more true than during his pioneering work in the early 80s.
The onset of the AIDS epidemic was a challenge for many reasons. The world of gay men and women was an unknown for most people, most readers of this newspaper, and it needed to be explained to our readers, so we did it.
From healthcare and bioethics to space and geology, it was a challenge that never stood still.
If there's one thing, I guess, that characterizes all of history, including scientific science, the history of science, is the history of living with change.
Just think about how much his profession has changed.
In fact, all of this stuff, I never use it anymore. I haven't looked at one of those in years. They're all online now.
But Perlman says one thing hasn't changed, and that's the fundamental job of a reporter.
Reporters are translators. You're constantly learning something. You're constantly challenged to write in an understandable way for your public's benefit. You have a feeling that maybe you're teaching some people a little bit.
And as for how he managed to keep on translating so much change over so much time,
I don't do anything that I'm supposed to, and I probably do a lot of things I'm not supposed to, but pure luck. Nothing has happened to stop me so far. May be different tomorrow, who knows?
In San Francisco, Wilson Walker, KPIX 5.